Something explosive has just surfaced inside the heart of government, and it wasn't meant for public eyes. A confidential memo quietly passed between two of Labour's most powerful women is now threatening to blow open a political and economic firestorm. It speaks of billions in fresh revenue, but the methods proposed they could send shock waves through pension pots, investment portfolios and high earners across Britain. And the most unsettling part, this wasn't leaked by opposition forces or unearthed through official scrutiny. This memo came from inside the machine. So what exactly is Angela Rayner planning behind closed doors? Let's break it down, but first hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more. A new political firestorm is erupting at the very top of the Labour Party, this time not over policy announcements but a leaked confidential memo from Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner. The 2-in-1/2 page document submitted to the Treasury back in March and recently obtained by the Telegraph proposes a sweeping tax raid that could hit millions of British savers, investors and high earners. Its contents are already fueling fierce backlash both inside and outside the party. Ray's memo, titled Alternative Proposals for Raising Revenue, calls for at least 8 separate tax hikes with estimated revenues of $3 billion to $4 billion a year, but analysts warn the real figure could be much higher, as several of the proposed changes don't yet have formal costings attached. So what exactly is being proposed? Among the most controversial is a move to reinstate the pension's lifetime allowance. This limit, scrapped by the Conservatives in 2023, had previously capped tax-free pension savings at just over $1 million. Once exceeded, savers were hit with hefty tax penalties. Reintroducing it could reportedly net up to £800 million annually, but at a steep cost to middle-class professionals who've spent decades building retirement pots. Another bombshell: abolishing inheritance tax relief on shares in the alternative investment market (AIM). This little-known exemption has been used by wealthier families to pass down investments without triggering inheritance tax. Axing the relief entirely could bring in as much as $1 billion per year, effectively making it harder for families to preserve generational wealth. But one thing is clear: the idea of a secret memo plotting billions in new taxes hitting pensions, inheritance, investment and income is already leaving many voters wondering just how much of their hard-earned savings will be left standing if Labour gets its way. In other news, British taxpayers will be paying thousands of pounds for an asylum seeker's dog to stay in the UK. It has been revealed the migrant's German Shepherd crossed the Channel in a small dinghy and reportedly needs to be kept isolated to prevent the spread of infectious diseases and for a full checkup. In what is believed to be a first-of-its-kind case, the dog may need further care before its owner's asylum claim is processed. The dog could need an additional 4 months of quarantine, which has come under criticism from opposition MPs. Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philip told The Sun, "Labour have lost control of our borders. The cost of quarantining this dog will run into thousands, all paid for by the British taxpayer. It is barking mad." A source said Border Force officials couldn't believe their eyes but treated the animal with the same humanity they show any individual. The dog has reportedly been moved to one of the government's quarantine sites. The news comes after Keir Starmer said he would take back control of Britain's borders and smash the gangs when Labour entered power. A government spokesman said to The Sun, "The UK takes biosecurity very seriously. Where an animal comes from an unlisted country, it is placed in quarantine to prevent dangerous diseases like rabies coming into the country." The German Shepherd joins 12,699 human migrants who have crossed the Channel so far this year. Reform UK leader Nigel Farage recently criticised the Prime Minister's position on stopping small boat crossings, branding Labour's smash the gangs migration policy an absolute failure. Addressing the Home Secretary of Cooper, Farage said, "5 years ago I warned that if we didn't leave the ECR and immediately deport those arriving in Dover via small boats, there would be an invasion. And sure enough, I was right." Does the Home Secretary accept that their smash the gangs policy has been a complete and total failure? And if that's the case, why should we believe anything else they say? What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you have not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye. And it doesn't stop there. Rayner also recommends scrapping the £500 tax-free allowance on dividend income while increasing dividend tax rates for wealthier investors. These moves would disproportionately hit entrepreneurs, small business owners and those relying on dividend income for retirement, many of whom are already being squeezed by inflation and interest rate hikes. Perhaps most striking is her proposal to freeze the additional rate income tax threshold, currently £125,140 beyond 2028 wealth. Manager Quilter estimates this could rake in $83 billion in the 2029-30 fiscal year alone. In practice, it would mean more high earners being dragged into the top tax bracket, not through any change in their real income but simply because the threshold isn't keeping pace with inflation. And for businesses, particularly banks, Rayner doesn't hold back. She suggests increasing the corporation tax for banks from 28% to 30%, a sharp rise that risks sending chills through the City of London. The timing and content of the memo have ignited deep divisions within Labour. Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves has made it her mission to reassure markets and signal fiscal discipline primarily through spending restraint rather than sweeping new tax hikes. Rayner's memo, however, appears to challenge that strategy head-on, reviving fears among critics that the Labour Party's old Corbyn-era instincts are still alive and well at the highest levels of government. Conservative Shadow Chancellor Mel Stride was quick to capitalise, declaring, "This confirms that we are still living with the Labour Party of Jeremy Corbyn at the very highest level. Labour ministers are debating which taxes to increase next." Meanwhile, Treasury insiders have reportedly scrambled to downplay the rift, insisting that while Reeves welcomes contributions from cabinet colleagues, she remains the sole decision-maker on tax and spending policy. Still, this elite couldn't come at a more volatile moment for Labour. Keir Starmer's leadership is already under internal pressure over cuts to disability benefits and his plan to end universal winter fuel payments. According to reports, over 100 Labour MPs have signed a private letter opposing changes to personal independence payment (PIP), marking the largest rebellion Starmer has faced to date. Angela Rayner, who sits firmly on the party's left, is said to be growing increasingly exasperated at being forced to publicly defend decisions she privately opposes, particularly those coming out of the Treasury. All of this paints a picture of a Labour government that's not just under external scrutiny but internally divided, uncertain, and potentially on a collision course over how to balance the nation's books. Whether these tax hikes ever become policy remains to be seen.